Once you have attention and relevance, then you can go into responsiveness. And responsiveness is ultimately when somebody readily reacts to suggestions, influences, appeals, or efforts. So ultimately, when you're selling something, okay? When you're selling something, this is the process that I go through with email, okay? And there's actually a piece in the bonus section. There's a module called Email Insanity, okay? I want you to go watch that because it talks a lot about what you can actually do to bridge where someone is right now, okay, when you have their attention, okay, all the way over to when they're responsive, okay? So this whole process of attention to responsiveness and ultimately a purchase is going to take a few steps, right? So the first thing that you need to do, once you have somebody that is that you have their attention, you've figured out what their struggle is that they're dealing with right now. Okay, you find out what's making them upset, what's making them hurt, what the pain is in their life. Right, that's my little visual for pain. Right, like a warning, and then you find out what is going to solve that problem. Right. I mean, this is not complicated, and I wanted to make this module probably the most simplified version of anything that you're going to find coming from me going forward, because these are the foundations of everything that we're going to be doing going forward. Okay, I keep things very simple because when they're simple, they work, and you can replicate them over and over and over again. Right? So the only things that I think about, okay, how do I get the attention of my audience? Once I have the attention, I need to do a few things, right? Every single email that I send, right, over like a 7-day period, right, needs to do a few things, right? So the first email that I send always goes to solidifying what their problem was. So I confirm, right? I'm confirming. That's number one. Confirm the problem, and also introduce who I am. All right. And if you're sending emails to a list that, for example, is more of a corporate nature, where they're getting on an email list and there's not like one person that is sending the emails, like when people get on my email list, or most of my clients, they're getting on my email list. They're expecting emails from me, and they want to know who I am. But if they're getting on your list and they're from like more of a corporate situation, you can introduce a persona. You can introduce what's called in a lot of different circles, an attractive character, a hero. You can introduce someone that is going to be the conduit between their problem, their desires, their hopes and dreams and pains, and the ultimate solution. Okay, so if you have someone in your organization, for example, I was talking to a client, and he was actually in the weight loss space, and he's a male who hasn't really had to go through a lot of the weight loss issues in his life. He's always been skinny. He's always been kind of healthy, but he was one of those guys that was what they call, skinny fat, right? He was skinny on the outside, but fat on the inside, right? So he had no, he had no fitness. He had no cardio abilities. He just never gained a lot of fat. But what happened is he went through a pretty significant change in his life where he started to get more fit. He started to focus a lot on health, and that's what he would talk about with his market. But what I let him know is, you don't have to email from yourself. You can be a persona that you introduce to your audience that is attractive to them, that looks and talks like them, that has the same problems as them. And maybe it's somebody that's in your organization, or somebody that is in your family that you can use as almost a spokesperson, right? And, I hate to use this example because of the recent issues, but, like Jared from Subway, right? He was like that attractive guy where he had a good story, and Subway used him in place of being kind of like a corporate, a corporate situation. They used a person that was relatable, and people could look at and be like, okay, he can do it, I can do it. So sometimes, for example, if you're selling products that help with weight loss, choose someone that has lost weight. If you have a market that is mostly females, maybe choose a female that you can put in place that can speak their language and almost move to the same side of the table as them. And that's what we used to say when I was in financial services, and we would always have this we'd have this diagram, okay, when we were teaching new people how to sell to business owners or sell to even family members, where we would draw a kitchen table, right? And these are the seats at the table, and we'd say, okay, well, here's you as the salesperson, and here's the family. And that's generally how it would always be. It would be like the family's on one side and you're at the other, right? But what we would tell them to do is, instead of sitting here, right, sit here, right? So that you are on the same side of the table as your prospect. And that's what we're going to be doing in our emails, is we're going to move from someone who is talking at a prospect, talking at a subscriber, to speaking with them and speaking their language, and not using jargon and vernacular that we're used to in our business, but speaking their language. And I'm going to share with you today how we're going to find their language and then speak it back to them in our emails. And it's very powerful. I started doing this recently, and the responsiveness has just gone up because the way that I'm speaking is actually the way that people are thinking in their minds. And I'm going to share with you how you can really do this. It's free. There's no crazy software you need to use. It's literally a big website that you can go to and find out exactly what people are thinking about you. So the first thing, back to this, is you want to confirm that you have the right person. Okay, and the way that I do that is going to go into the next section here, and I'll skip that for now, but I'll show you one simple email that you can send that will allow you to, number one, confirm that you've got the right person, but it will allow them to confirm that you're the right person. Okay, and when you do this, your first email's going to go out, and it will show them, yes, this is the right person that is going to help me with my problem. Okay, and that's the mindset that you want someone to go from. You got their attention because you've said, yep, this is your problem. Here, I've got a solution for you. And then your first message is literally confirming what they just put their email into, why they just subscribed, why they just said, yes, you can show me what you have to offer, right? Confirming is extremely powerful because you get that small commitment. You get that yes, saying, yes, you are the right person to help me with what I'm doing, with the problems that I'm having. Okay. Number two is you want to show connection. Okay. So first you're going to confirm, then you're going to connect. Right. And what I do here is I give them a little bit more about me or the character. Okay. Whoever that is. And this could be a story, the backstory of who you are, where you come from. If it's a weight loss story, for example, a lot of times this will be, look, this is who I am. This is what you confirm that you actually want information on. I'm going to introduce myself just a little bit and tell you that we've had some results. But yet tomorrow I'm going to tell you that it wasn't always like this, right? So in the second story, we're going to connect at a deep level. All right, we're going to tell a little bit of your story. If you have a video, okay, that's even better. But if you can do it in words, either way, it works really well. And I'm gonna take a little sidebar right now because there's a lot of talk about what works better. Does video work better for sales? Does text work better? Do stories work better? The answer is it really depends on how your market likes to receive information, right? It matters how your market likes to receive information because the people that I promote to, right, because I'm structuring things in an email type format, they like receiving information via email, right? If you're selling a video training course or a Facebook training course, chances are they're going to want to connect with you on Facebook or through video, right? Or it's just a matter of the type of person it is. So in a way, you can provide multiple ways that they can communicate. You can provide text, you can provide video, you can provide downloadable audios, you can provide any number of mediums so that you make sure that you're connecting with that person the way that they want to be connected with, not the way that you're just most comfortable connecting. Okay, doing live webinars and doing courses like this weren't always the most comfortable for me because I love to write. I love to be in quiet places and kind of get my thoughts together. So when I speak out loud, sometimes you'll notice, sometimes I stutter, I search for words and things like this because I'm used to sitting and writing, email, and I'm used to getting my thoughts together instead of kind of just talking on the spot. But I know that my market, you like to hear in webinar form. You love to hear in video form and written form and audio. You love to have different options. So I provide that, right? And there's different things that I can do in video, like drawing on the screen, doing these type of things that I can't do in text, all right? So the second email, and I'm going to put a document in the member site that outlines this. So if you don't get exactly all of this right now, it's not a problem. So just relax and watch this. So the first thing you're going to do is confirm. The second you're going to do is connect. The third thing that you're going to do, okay, is show that they're a part of a community. Okay, community. And the way that you do this is by using social proof. Okay, social proof. Okay, so you're going to be using testimonials, proof that your product works, and it doesn't just work for you. Because a lot of times what you'll find is that people are selling a product or service based on a result that they've achieved. Okay? They're selling a product or service based on a result they've achieved. And this is for anything, right? Investment brokers, real estate agents, web developers, information products, training, coaching. You're selling a result. The real estate agent on the street is every time they sell a house, it says, oh, sold over asking. Okay, great. So it's sold over asking. I know that they have results in a similar community that I live in, right? So I live in a community. I say, okay, who am I going to go to if I want to sell my house, if I want to look for a place to rent, if I want to rent out my house? Okay, who am I going to go to? Well, I'm going to go to the guy that just sold the house that's just like mine with a family that looks just like mine. Okay, so I'm going to try to find social proof with my offer that relates directly to the people that I'm selling to. Okay, so if I'm selling a product that helps children, all right, that helps children in certain ages and with certain abilities, I'm going to find that exact person that I want to help. Okay, and then I'm going to match it up with an exact person that I've already helped. And I'm going to use that as my community builder. Okay, so I'm going to first confirm that they're the right person and I'm the right person to help them. I'm going to connect with myself, but then I'm also going to help them connect with others. Because if they can see someone else that looks just like them, that sounds just like them, that had the same problems, maybe even came from similar or worse circumstances, and also is now getting the same or better results that they want, that gap is ultimately what's going to be filled by offering our product, service, solution. Okay? And then in between, I always provide, frequently asked questions, other social proof, testimonials, and even case studies. Okay? Case studies are very powerful. Okay? Whatever market you're in, especially in education, results-based type markets, whether and that's why when I was marketing this, what did I do? Right, I showed you a case study of somebody that I had worked with that wasn't me, that had their own business, and what we were able to do through a few sessions working with me. Okay. And I showed that because he's even from a different country, but I showed a situation where someone had not much experience, didn't have a large email list, but was still able to use a few specific strategies in order to get more results. Okay. So this is a simple formula right here, right? First, you're going to confirm, then you're going to connect, then you're going to build a community, then you're going to do a case study, and then you're going to solve the problem. Okay? And when you do it in this format, every single step along the way inches yourself forward along that trust factor. It gets you onto the same side of the table as your prospect. And when you're sitting from the same side of the table, speaking the same language, using the same examples, that's when you get responsiveness, right? That's when you get responsiveness. All right, my pen just went nuts. Okay. All right, I'm going to erase these things. Does this make sense to you guys? Okay, so this is the biggest mistake, and I mentioned this before, but it's really believing that your prospects are ready to be pitched when all you have is a bit of attention. And I see this all the time, and I want to reiterate this because this is probably the biggest thing that keeps good, smart business people from achieving the results that they want. It's number one, being too involved with yourself and what you're selling versus what your prospect is feeling at that moment in time, right? And taking advantage of just having a little bit of attention, right? And I see this all the time. It happens a lot with affiliate marketing, especially when marketing on Facebook, where attention is very sparse and fleeting. Where if you have someone's attention at this moment in time, it almost feels like, oh, I have to sell them at that moment because I'm never going to get that chance back. Well, if you go through this process of what I just went through, that whole diagram, you're going to have the attention. You're going to maintain the attention, and then you're ultimately going to have a relationship with that person that you're able to offset any sort of other competing interests in their life. Okay, if you have a competitor that's going after your prospect, if you treat them in this specific way, they're not going to be a competitor anymore. They're going to be a nuisance and an annoyance to your prospect. Okay, so this is where the art of the micro commitment comes into play.